they are dynamic and they are the basis of our team. So the first step which we had to do here, we had to describe agents which will be in our model. So agent is a person who makes a calls, and this person has its own contact list which consists of strong and weak connections. Strong connections are colleagues, friends, relatives, close ones of the person. And the weak connections are all other people who, for some reason, present in their contact list. And calling activity of the agent described by two main parameters: activity interval, which represents the interval between calls of the person, and the call length. Call length obviously is the period of time which person makes the call. For agent types identification, we analyzed two data sets. One of them was collected from the internet, which is on the left, and the second one was made by ourselves through social networks. So we asked our friends about some information, some questions about their calling activity. So we had some kind of survey here. So from these two data sets, we were able to get three types of agents, which are presented below the picture. So the first one is regular agents, which have quite diversified activity interval and call duration, but they all have quite small contact number, and their call activity is quite low. The second type of agents is organizers, so it is as we call them. These ones are here, so they have very small activity interval, and means that they call very much here, and they have very large, relatively large contact lists. And the third one is the busy people. So busy people are here, and they have a very large number of contacts in the contact list, but they have quite short conversation, because they're busy people, they don't have much time to talk, they have their own business. The next step was to create a contact network model. As a basis for our contact network, we chose a small world model because we experimentally found that it is the most appropriate one for our research. We adjusted it a bit because with assumption that if the person is connected, is in someone's contact list, that with high probability this person will also be in this one's contact list. So we just made a bit of adjustment in the rewire step of creating a small world model. Here we can see 5 steps of calls network model functioning. At first we create agents with their parameters, activity interval and call length. Then we create their contact lists using small world model, adjusted small world model. And then we start our simulation. And every iteration, which represents 1 second of a time, agent try to call someone from their contact list. And if agent finds someone, he tries to reach this person, and if the person is available for the call, the call is stopped, and these 2 agents become unavailable for other calls for the period of time of the length of the call. Okay, and then information spread model is based on suspectable infected model. We didn't add recovered part of this model because our simulation periods are quite small for now, quite small, about 2 days. So we assume that people won't forget some information within 2 days. Information has two main characteristics: importance and relevance. Importance is a constant measure, and relevance is a function of the time. So with the time, the relevance of the information goes down. So it's quite relevant information, I suppose. At the beginning of the simulation, certain agents are aware of the information, and they, through calling activity, they try to spread this information. And transfer probability depends on interest of the agent, information, importance, relevance, and relative importance of receiver to the caller. This thing is important because if you call your close one, your relative, you would with much more probability want to transfer information to the person. So, and now I go into the urgent simulation scenario. These parameters which we defined were quite suitable for regular situations which do not have some urgency in them. For urgent situations, we logically assume that people will call much faster, their conversations will be much shorter, because they want to call, they want to spread information to as much people as possible and as fast as possible. So we reduced call durations, we reduced activity intervals very much, and then we made some changes in the model itself. Agents now do not call anyone twice, so they remember that they called this person before, so they don't call it again. And agents select calls targets not randomly, but based on connection strength of their contact list. So they will, the first person they will call would be the close ones with strong connections. So here we experimentally evaluated our model first. So we needed to understand that the approach we developed is suitable and logically stable, so it can be used for our further experiments in the urgent scenarios. So here we can see in this experiment we changed the percentage of initially aware agents from 5% to 95% with total count of agents 1,000. And 3 plots here represent 3 groups of initially aware agents. The first one is organizers, then busy people, and here is ordinary people. From the plots we can see that organizers, due to their high calling activity, short conversations and short activity intervals, they spread information much faster than these 2 types of agents. And busy people are also quite fast, but here for regular people we see that they have very high interval of inactivity, so they do not spread information at all at the beginning of simulation. And it can be easily explained due to their high activity interval. So they do not spread information here at the beginning because they do not simply call anyone in this period of time. And on the bottom plot we can see the time which is required for agents in different situations to inform the vast majority of agents, which is 97.5%. One interesting thing that can be found here in the end for regular agents is that they stop spreading. They need much time for spreading for cases 80 to 95%, and this anomaly can be explained because when a lot of people are informed in this network, so it is hard for regular people to find someone to spread their information. The urgent simulation experiment was related to comparison of behavior at first with regular scenario. So here we have may get some time from my second presentation for it, because it will be my meeting. Thank you. The upper two plots represent a comparison of behavior for a different type of agents from 500 to 10,000 for regular case and for urgent case. So here we can see that in general their behavior is quite similar, but for regular case to inform almost all agents it takes 60 hours, but for urgent scenario it takes only 20 minutes to inform vast majority of agents. And below we can see that experiments where we change different parameters of information to analyze which of them influence much or less, more or less, onto information spread process. So here we can see that the thing that influences the most is the complexity of information. And complexity is the period of time which requires for agents to transfer the information. Because of it, so when complexity is very high, agents need very much more time to spread the information. Here I would like to quickly show you visualization of the process of information spreading. But I can't find some scrolling thing to speed it up.
Maybe you explain what's happening?
Yeah.
You cannot read it.
Yes. So here we can see three layers which represent busy people, organizers, and regular people for different stages of calling simulations. Edges here represent calls which agents make. Red agents represent people who possess information, and red edges represent information spreading process. And here we can see different types of agents. The sizes of nodes represent the calls, the number of calls they make. So we can see that organizers make much more calls than regular agents and then busy people. And here in the end we can see that almost all agents are informed. Only 4, I suppose, here are not informed in the end. And here we also can see that in this visualization we can see calls which agent make, where he or she transferred the information and whether he didn't transfer the information. And for different types of agents we can see that organizers make a very high number of calls. So as a conclusion, we proposed multi-layer agent-based model for information spreading in regular and urgent situations. We defined parameters for our agents, and experimental results show that model behaves correctly and can be applied for simulation of users' behavior. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Questions, please. Okay.
Do you also model the frequency of calling, or it's assumed?
Frequency of calling?
Yes.
Activity interval is represents.
Activity interval is So in the beginning you mentioned the 5-layer network, right? 5 or 6-layer network.
Yeah.
So what is your plan for the bottom 2-3 layers? How do you plan to use them?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. We are currently working on these devices and cellular networks. So to complete our model, to make it complete. But these 2 layers will give us more. Will make this model more realistic, more specific, because in general, these 2 layers influence only the process of information spreading, but they are, I think, I can say they're additional for the whole model. For the whole model, the core of the model are these 2 layers which we have already implemented. But we do not forget about these 2. We are working on the implementation.
No, my question was, so the studies that you're doing about information spreading, I think you can do them well enough with just the 3 layers that you have now. These kind of studies you should be able to do. So what additional information do you think modeling the other 2 devices and cellular network is going to give you? So what new study do you plan to do once you have that model?
Yes, we are going to, we are in work. We are developing these 2 layers, and to complete the model, and after that we will start additional and next steps of evaluation and analyzing the colon activity in some more close to real world environment, because here we can
get more data that you can verify.
Yes, and we are hoping to get some additional data, because information about cellular networks is quite open. We can, for every city, find information about this one, and devices network is quite straightforward. So,
but device network, is it like more geographical, the position of the device itself in space?
Yes, we are hoping to, not hoping, we are going to make these 2 layers geographically specific, because cellular networks are geographically specific, and devices will run in this geographically environment. So.
Other questions? Then I have actually a couple. So the call network, I think you said you are using what, Strogat's model? Why not Barabas-Albert with preferential attachment? Which is more realistic, I think, representing real world.
In our pre-studies, so we try to experimentally analyze through. We use different models. We from the different papers we got information that small world model is more applicable than preferential attachment for situations like we are working on. So we experimentally analyzed behavior of the network of different number of agents, and we found out that small world is a bit more applicable for our case.
But Barabas-Albert will also give you a small world model, but it's more realistic, I think, in terms that it has these super hubs, which we do see in real life.
Yes, we were. In fact, we were trying to go out of these super hubs and preferential attachment model, because as we saw from our experimental results of real data, we didn't find these super hubs, these preferential attachment scenarios in real data, and that's why.
Because I also saw experimental data on phone calls specifically, and it was really this Barabas-Albert data, log scale, straight line in the distribution.
You saw.
I can show you that graph, and then we can
Oh, yeah.
offline, of course.
Yeah, it would be great because
And
we had some problems to find real data sets for calling activity because
Well,
many of them are closed and.
Well, I just saw the graph in a paper,
Oh,
not
yeah,
an
yeah.
open network, of course, yeah. And is your network, the graph, weighted? With links having weights?
Well, context network.
Yeah.
Yes, it is weighted because.
And the weight is?
Weight is importance of one agent to another. It is a strength of connection.
How often they call each other, something like this?
A probability of calling. Yeah, so we distribute probability of calling through context network of the one agent.
Okay, that makes sense. But in urgent situations, I would think that a person would first try to contact someone with the highest connection degree to a hub who would distribute information more quickly.
We made some bit of different assumption. We assume that the agent will call its contact with the highest probability, with the strongest connection.
Like